It's going to hinder your relationships. It's going to hinder, the spiritual things that you get out of life. It's going to hinder your realization of your talents, your skill sets. If you're not taking risk, you're not really living your life. Okay. The fact of the matter is that the biggest risk that you can take is staying the same. The reason is because we are in a world right now that is changing drastically, month to month, year to year. Technology is progressing at a rate that you couldn't imagine. Our philosophy as humanities is progressing at a rate that really is unfathomable. Because we have access to the internet, because we have access to all of these different opinions all the time, all of these philosophers are getting all of these different insights from each other. And so by virtue of that, and by virtue of all of the information that's available to us, it really doesn't make sense to stay the same, especially if you're not getting the results that you want, the achievements, the prowess, the success that you want. You have to go out and take risks. You have to go and understand what it is that makes you special and what it is that you're trying to get out of this life. Because frankly speaking, the risk of not changing, of fearing what we'll see in the world, of who we're going to become, now that is going to hinder everything in your life. It's going to hinder your relationships. It's going to hinder, the spiritual things that you get out of life. It's going to hinder your realization of your talents, your skill sets. So when it comes to risk, the way that I think about things effectively is, first of all, do I have the resources that will help me maintain my well-being, basically my shelter, the food that I have, the relationships that I have, the little things that I want sometimes in my life. Do I have those variables on lock? And if that is the case, then do I have the time to invest? Do I have the money to invest? Or do I have just overall the resources to invest into this risk? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Turab, I don't really have, this substantial job and I can't really, I get paid hourly for my work and there's only so much I get in savings. Right. In those circumstances, you again have to wonder, do I have the food over my head or food over my head? Do I have a roof over my head? Do I have food? Do I have my relationships? If that's taking care of all that excess other stuff, right, you should be risking it. You should be putting it out there because if you believe that investing in yourself is a risk, you probably don't have very much faith in yourself. And the reality is, my friend, you are going to make the money in your life that you are worth as a human being, how deep your philosophy is, how deep your technical skill is, and your network really determine how much you get paid. Your ability to pay attention to detail and to see things systematically, to zoom out and create circumstances that you can teach your skill set, perhaps at 80% capacity to someone else, right? That determines how much money you will make. And I'm saying this because a little of my videographers are standing behind me and I want them to make more money. I want you guys to actually have more prowess in your life. And what that comes down to is, hey, I got a new project that I want to try out. I got this new filming technique I want to try out. I got this new lighting setup I want to try out. To tell your employer that and to take the risk and put that stuff in there and, make those videos or whatever you got to do. At the end of the day, if you don't do that, you're never going to know if it works. And if you don't know if something works, well, you're not really getting anywhere. So risks are essential, essential, essential. I always say that the importance of taking risks in our 20s is immense. You can literally fuck up for the next 10 years of your life. And I say this all the time. People much wiser than me say this all the time. You can really mess your life up for the next 10 years, and it's not going to make a drastic difference in terms of your wealth, in terms of your relationships, in terms of anything. Time, especially in the beginning of our life, if you think about it, from 0 to 10 years old, we learn a tremendous amount of information, right? We learn like how to be humans. That's a lot. There's a lot of sensory input. There's a lot of emotional input. There's a lot of spiritual input, whatever. From 10 to 20, we start getting to the point where we can navigate our personality. We can navigate our friend groups. We can navigate perhaps a philosophy of the world, right? At that point, when you're 20, now you have the basic skill set of what is required to be a human being. Okay. Now comes, what does it mean to be a human being in context to society? That's our 10 to 30, or that's our 20 to 30 year range. We need to experiment in that range and take risks in order to understand where we fit in best, what intuitively works for us, how our uniqueness factors into how we play with others and how we play in groups. It's it's impossible essentially to learn that about ourselves without going out and doing things that we don't know is going to work, that we don't know is going to present us with the ideal circumstance. And so another part of this is also, going to get mentors from 20 to 30 years old, right? Don't try to make all the mistakes yourself. Don't go and try to take all the risks yourself, right? Get a mentor that ideally has taken some of these risks, that ideally has a similar philosophy or one that you want, and ask them, hey, is this a calculated risk? Have you taken this risk before? What did you get out of it? And watching interviews, watching podcasts, reading books, all of these things will show you the more efficient route so that you only really take the risks that you have to take, if that makes sense. It's very important to narrow that stuff down, learn from the mistakes of other people before getting into a circumstance where you are sacrificing resources that you need for your food, your shelter, and your relationships, and you are in a situation where you can't be structurally sound. Now, there's a lot of this advice that goes out there, oh, and go and do what you want, follow your dreams, enjoy your life the way that only you can. I completely agree. But when it comes down to, again, leaving that shelter, your friends, and food, you shouldn't do that, right? There's ways to take risks while staying in the bounds of having your basic needs met. And I would always recommend doing that because you never know the support that you'll need from your family and your friends in the process of taking those risks, because the eventual failures of those risks have tremendous amounts of emotional burden, financial burden, time burden as well. But the emotional aspect, we need to have a team around us to help support kind of the things that we're going through. The caveat to this is that if your entire environment is encouraging you not to take risks whatsoever, and you're watching this video and you're saying, okay, I'm ready to take some risks, then it would behoove you to start establishing a slightly augmented environment. And what is our environment composed of? It's the people that we spend our time with, it's the things that we read, it's the things that we think. And the things that are on our walls, everything subconsciously that's around you is going to formulate really the things that you're thinking about and how you're perceiving the world. So if your environment is not conducive to you being optimistic about taking risks, then it's a good shout to try to augment that, to try to hang out with people that are more positive, to try to read more entrepreneurial books, to try to subscribe to channels like this on your Instagram and your YouTube, wherever subconsciously you're thinking about life in general, to have that start to enter your environment so that you can surround yourself with those mentors, so that you can go and take those risks and make sure that it's a calculated thing rather than something that you're doing out of running away from, a responsibility or a life scenario. So that's risk in a nutshell for me. It's essential. It's something that if you're not doing, you're probably not growing in life. If you have $20,000 saved up in your bank account and you have a place to live and you have food and you have good relationships, thinking about, hey, do I want to go to that conference and spend $5,000? Yes, you do, right? And when you get there, you want to shake as many hands as possible. You never know who you're going to meet. You want to always, always, always try to give free value to people. It doesn't matter if you're talking to someone that makes $100 million a year or someone that makes $40,000 a year, right? If you can deliver that value to them, they will spend time with you. Ideally, you do want to spend time with people that are further along in the food chain than you are, because a lot of people get into the circumstance, myself included, where I'm making a certain amount of income, I'm making a certain amount of difference in my population, my community, and it's a lot easier to go to the low-hanging fruit and hang out with people that are like, oh, I'd like to learn from you and I'd like to see how we can work together. But it's actually better to go and try to spend time with people that are like, dude, it doesn't affect my life whatsoever if I work with you. It doesn't change anything about me if I spend time with you, because those are the people that you can learn the most from. It's also an awkward, risk again that you're taking to go and put yourself out there in front of those people. But what are those people looking for, right? They're busier than you. Their time is more efficient than yours. They have larger networks and responsibilities than you. What can you go and offer those people is, hey, I'm here with you right now. Do you mind if I just record a little interview, right? And let me put it up on social media, grow your following. You'll have another piece of content. Hey, did you know this thing about recording technology? Did you know this thing about audio? If there's, asking them what their problems are and being like, hey, have you thought about doing it this way? Contributing ideas, right? These types of things, this makes us valuable in those circumstances and helps us find those mentors that can help us take the risks more efficiently. But for more on this, you can obviously comment down below if you want. If you ask any questions about a risk that you're taking currently, perhaps I can speculate on that. But go out and fail. I wish ample amounts of pain and suffering on you. Enjoy the process of taking risks and being alive and having that luxury of chaos in your life, and just realize that if you're not doing it, that the net strength, you're just not allowing yourself to grow. So actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Take care of yourself. If you want more of this on your feed, go ahead and subscribe down below, like, and let the videographers and the editors know if they're doing a good job. Let me know if I'm doing a good job, and we'll just try to form a community. So take care. Peace.